Welcome to our FSA Math Information Night. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Elizabeth Darcy. I'm one of the assistant principals here at Milwee, and I'm joined by Mr. Connolly, Ms. Rogers, and Ms. Rozga, and they're going to go through some really important information for you tonight, so we're glad you're here. We will have a question and answer box up for your questions, and we'll get to as many of them as we can. But if we don't get to all the questions, we will certainly send out a frequently asked question document to those of you that RSVP'd. We also will have a feedback form at the end, and we really need your feedback. So please take the time to fill that out at the end of the presentation. So here we go.
So tonight we have several things on our agenda. We're going to tell you where all the FSA material and information is located. We're going to go through 6th grade, computer-based testing, 7th grade, pre-algebra, algebra and geometry EOC. We're going to give you some test taking tips and strategies, and then we're going to help you navigate to the practice test and information on FS assessments. And of course, again, at the end, we would really appreciate you to fill out our feedback form. So all the information regarding the FSA is located on fsassessments.org. Also, on each homepage in eCampus, we are building FSA information and material pages that contain our testing schedule. Once our bell schedule comes out, that will be located there as well. The math topics included for that specific grade level, some practice tests and directions, and our Khan Academy links that our students have been using to prepare for the upcoming FSA. So 6th grade, my 6th grade babies get to take FSA first. They are going to be testing for math on Thursday and Friday, May 6th and 7th. 6th grade is paper-based, so we do not have to do any computer stuff for 6th grade. We get to take our test on paper. On the tests, there is between 56 and 66 items. Our test is 3 60-minute sessions. Session 1 is going to be on Thursday, May 6th. It is 60 minutes long, followed by session 2 and 3 on Friday, May 7th. Again, each session is 60 minutes long with a break in between. Our 6th graders can't use calculators on any portion of the test. So these are the reporting categories on our FSA 6th grade math test. They do ratio and proportional reasoning, expressions and equations, geometry, statistics and probability, and the number system. And you see the percentage of the test each of those categories is. They do also get a paper reference sheet. The reference sheet contains any of their conversions that they need, along with their geometry formulas. We are using these formulas in class, and we will make sure that they have seen a copy of it beforehand, and we are going to review the FSA reference sheet before the FSA. So there are several different types of questions on the Math FSA. They're going to see matching questions like this where they just choose one answer. Oh, multiple choice, I apologize. Multiple choice questions where they just choose one response. Will you hit it one more time? Multi-select. Multi-select questions, they have to choose all of the answers that apply to that question. Matching items, where they have to choose, they have to fill in the different columns that match with the answer choice. One more time. Yep. And they have to fill out a response grid. We are going to practice filling out the response grid before the FSA so that they understand exactly how to use the response grid. And they also have to edit problems, I guess we could say that. There are choices there that you can see in the example, and they have to read and they have to fill in the correct choice. They call it an editing task choice. Yep, and this one is called a selectable hot task, where the choices appear in the columns or the answer choice boxes, and they have to read the question carefully and choose the answer in each column. So All throughout the whole school year, they have seen questions in these manners to get them used to it so that when it comes to the FSA, they will understand how to answer these questions. So what are we doing to get your kids ready for FSA? We have started in classes with our FSA countdown quizzes located on eCampus. And like in my class, for example, we're doing them in stations. The students are working together on those and they're working their problems out on whiteboards, coming to ask me questions when they run into trouble or something that they don't remember. We have FSA review PowerPoints that we're going to start doing in class on Mondays. We're going to be playing FSA Jeopardy. They're super excited about it because they get to compete against each other. We are using Khan Academy. The unit test and all of those practice links are located on eCampus. We're going to be doing some of that in class as well as for homework. And we do encourage the kids and you guys to go into fsassessments.org and look at the practice test. Located, we're going to show you where that is at the end of the presentation, and also there is a link in eCampus.
Hello. So for computer-based testing, all 7th grade pre-algebra, algebra, and geometry students will complete their Math FSA on computers. We're going to go over just the different types of question they're going to be that they'll see on all of these different types of tests. The first type of question is going to be a multiple choice where they just have to select one correct answer. After that, it's also a matching items where they're going to have different rows and they have to select the matching items with the columns. They also have a multi-select section where they'll make sure that they're selecting all of the correct answer choices given. After that, they also have open responses where they use what's called an equation editor that you see on the bottom there. This is a different type of tool that is available that allows students to input different math symbols and equations. In our classes, we're actually taking time to make sure that students are going through what's called the equation editor tutorial so that they're familiar with this tool and they'll be able to enter their responses as they correctly want to. On the computer test, we also have the connect line tool. This way that they're able to draw different shapes to represent their answers. So we'll be using this in class as well for practice. We have multi-answers where they're filling multiple answers in just for one question as well. There's also this drag and drop, just a different type of format, making sure that they can answer them correctly and put them in the right spot. Students will be practicing this to be able to understand how they can effectively reflect their answer choice in the way that they would like it. The editing task choice, instead of bubbling it in because we're on a computer, it's going to be a drop down where they select the correct response that they would like. I'm going to go on to talk about the 7th grade math testing. 7th grade math testing will be on Monday and Tuesday, May 10th and 11th. The 7th grade FSA is a computer-based test. On the FSA, there is going to be between 56 and 66 questions on the test. Well, the test will be like, there is going to be 3 different 60-minute sessions. Session 1 is going to be administered on Monday, May 10th. Section 1 is a non-calculator based part of the test, so calculators will not be used during that part. Session 2 and 3 will be administered on Tuesday, May 11th, which is 60 minutes each with a break in between. Session 2 and 3, calculators will be provided by the school to be completed for that part. On the 7th grade math FSA, these are the different categories that they'll be tested on: ratios and proportional reasoning, expressions and equations, geometry, statistics and probability, and the number systems. As you can see, there's the various different percents that each of the questions will be on. There will be a reference sheet provided for the students. They'll be having different math conversions and different geometry formulas provided for them. To prepare for the FSA, we are going to be doing different review packets and PowerPoints that we're completing in class. We're also going to be doing little mini lessons on the main topics so that we're bringing all of their information that they learned throughout the year from the back to the front of their head to get them ready. The Khan Academy unit tests are available on eCampus along with practice tests from the FSA. As I said before, we use that equation editor tutorial so that the students are very well able to make sure that they are giving their correct answers into the format that is needed.
Hello. For your pre-algebra math testing dates, we have Monday and Tuesday, May 10th and 11th. It's
Oh,
going to
it's
be
not paper-based.
a computer-based this year.
It is
Computer-based.
I don't think
computer-based.
it's the date either. I don't think it's the date, but that's okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
Oh, it may be a different date.
Yeah, we'll update that on the eCampus site, so
Yes.
your favorite teachers. How many questions on the test? Also 56 to 66 questions on that test. There'll be 3 60-minute sessions for your pre-algebra tests. Like your 7th grade tests, session 1 will be administered first, followed by sessions 2 and 3. Reporting categories are expressions and equations, functions, geometry, and then we have stats, probability, and the number system. It will also have a reference sheet with conversions that they can use on the test. And in class, they will do some EOC review packets as well as going over the FSA pre-algebra practice tests. For your algebra and geometry, those tests will be on Tuesday and Wednesday, May 18th and 19th, also computer-based. Also 56 to 66 items.
Oh, that's very small.
Yeah, there will be 2 sessions. First one will be no calculator, followed by a second session the next day with they can use a calculator.
There's one thing different about the algebra and geometry test. So they get, I think it's 2 90-minute sessions. And they actually can choose to work for up to half of the class, half of the school day. So if they're not finished, oh, he made it bigger for us. If they're not finished after the 90-minute session, they can choose to continue working.
Correct.
Now we can see it.
And for those of you that do finish within the 90 minutes, you won't have to stay there for half the school day.
Correct.
What will be on that test? We have algebra and modeling, functions and modeling, and then statistics and the number system for your algebra tests. The algebra reference sheet will have conversions only.
No, geometry.
And the geometry test will have congruent, similarity, right triangles, trigonometry, circles, geometric measurement, geometric properties with equations, and modeling with geometry, just a couple things. And you also have conversions and a couple of geometric formulas as well as your equations for linear functions. In class, we'll do the EOC review packets that many of you have already started or completed. Then you have your FSA practice tests. And in geometry, we're about halfway through the Math Nation boot camp. And algebra will be starting the Math Nation boot camp after next week.
Do we have any questions that we need?
Right now, we have a question, but I think the question and answer box is kind of locked, but that's okay. I'm not able to answer any of the
Okay.
questions. But the question was, is this also for the Florida virtual school? And the answer is all Florida students take the same tests. It just might be in a different location. So if you're a Florida virtual school student, you'll just need to reach out to Florida virtual school to find out where your testing location is. And it most likely will be where you took your writing FSA last week. But the 6th grade FSA is the same for all 6th graders in the state, same with 7th and 8th graders, students taking the EOCs in algebra and geometry as well as civics. We have another question. Is geometry EOC score being factored into the final grade this year? How soon after the test will students get their final grade for the class? So right now, Seminole County has not opted in. So if students take the test, as we hope that they will, and the score improves their grade, then it calculates in 30%. If the score does not improve their grade, it does not calculate into their final grade. So their class performance will be their grade. But we won't know that until the scores are in, and at this time, we don't know how quickly the scores will come in. How long do they usually take? At
At
least a
some
few
point
weeks,
over
right?
the summer, they
Okay.
come in, yeah.
And those are the only two questions I have at this time. So folks, if you have questions, please make sure you put them in the chat. We'll try to answer them through the WebEx, but I'm not able to type in any answers. So, but feel free to ask questions.
So we wanted to go through a couple of test taking strategies, and we all know all the kids play Among Us. So just so that we remember there is a test among us. Make sure that your student gets a good night's sleep the night before taking the FSA. They don't need to be up playing Among Us until midnight. They need to go to bed on time.
Midnight's early.
Make sure they eat a healthy breakfast in the morning. School offers free breakfast to everyone. So if your student does not get to have breakfast at home before coming to school, please encourage them to come and have breakfast with us here. Make sure to encourage your student to look at everything in the text, including the pictures, the captions, the charts, and the diagrams. We have been harping on them to read all words in all problems, including all the labeling and all the graphs so that they can correctly read them. Read all of the answer choices and eliminate the imposters. So especially for our paper-based babies that are taking them, our little 6th graders, we are encouraging them to write all over the test. They are allowed to write all over the test. They can mark things out. Our computer-based testing allows them a tool where they can actually mark out answers that they do not think are correct. Read the math problems carefully and show your work. We tell them all the time, you can't get the right answer without showing your work. And so especially for paper-based, and not only for paper-based, but for our computer-based, they get work paper. They're provided work paper for the computer-based. We want it to be full of math problems. So please encourage them. We have been doing it all year. Show your work, show your work, show your work. When you're done with the test, make sure that you're quiet so that others can, and please wear a flamingo on your head. Definitely. Yeah.
Extra points.
Yeah, extra points. All right. And then before you raise your hand to tell your teacher that you are finished, make sure you check over your work. A lot of us do make sure to ask that question. Please, have you gone over and checked and made sure you're finished? But just go and check over your work. And stay calm. That's a big one. I know kids are very stressed out about this test. Just stay calm. We're ready for this test. We want to see what your kids can do this year. Just go in, do your best, stay calm, and focus. And all of those are just what we've already gone over. You can go ahead. Yeah, it's cool, right? All right, so now we would actually like, if you want to open another tab on your computer, if you are on your computer, and go ahead and type in, if you just type in fsassessments.org, it will take you there, because we are going to direct you on how to find all of the online information for the practice test and the directions. I'd like, wait a second. So once you get to the website, you're going to select students and families at the top on the left-hand side. Yep. Should we sing?
We can go.
All right. Once you select that, you're going to see this screen. And you are going to select, I believe a little arrow comes up and tells me that you're going to select practice tests. Once here, you're going to see several different options. If you are a 6th grader, you are choosing the paper-based practice testing material. If you are a 7th grader, an 8th grader, oh, go backward one more time. I think it's going to be an extra slide, but that's okay. I'm going to go ahead and tell you this anyway. If you are a 7th grader, a pre-algebra student, algebra or geometry student, you will select the computer-based practice test and materials. Go ahead. If you select 6th grade, this is what you see. The practice test, when you click on it, it is a PDF. So it goes through, it shows you the different testing item types, And then there's actually directions for taking the test. The directions for taking the test we've pretty much already gone through in this presentation. It's a PDF, great reading material. You can try it out. And then for our older kids, our 7th pre-algebra, algebra, and geometry kids, you guys are computer-based. Once you click that, you will see where you can go in and click the computer-based testing, the computer-based practice test. Now, 7th grade advanced IB kids, you guys have done this today, so you can go in and show your parents what it looks like. And for our other students, they definitely should go in and take a look at it and play around with it. I know that most of our classes also have them do that in school. Any more questions, Miss Darcy?
No more questions in the chat? So what will they see when they go into this Google form?
Oh, yes. All right. So Mr. Bruin is putting a Google form, a link to our Google feedback form. If you could take a minute and click on it and just give us a little feedback for participating in tonight's live event, there is a spot at the bottom for you to choose a prize. Yay, everybody needs a prize. Just to thank you for coming and listening to the information that we have presented regarding FSA. We will be here for several more minutes. If you come up with a question and would like for us to answer it, we will stay and answer your questions. Yeah. Yay.
Thank you, Mr. Bruin. Mr. Bruin went ahead and put a link directly for you. So if you go in WebEx and you go to the bottom right where it says chat, you can open up the chat. And we have a thank you already, so good for you. Yeah, go ahead and click on that. We really need your feedback, not just so that we can, give you the information that you need, but we also need it for Title I documentation and family engagement. But we did buy some prizes.
We did.
And, some of those things are going to be useful for you and your family as you guys prepare for the upcoming assessments and in the future. All right, here's another question. Is there a way to get back to the Q&A? All right. All right, here's a question. Is 6th grade pre-IB taking the same FSA as regular 6th grade?
So all of our 6th graders take the exact same test, even our GEMS kids who are students that are actually not really doing 6th grade curriculum in class. If they are a 6th grader, they will take the same 6th grade paper-based FSA test.
I have another question. If a student is attending Seminole Virtual, can she go to school and practice geometry? That's going to be a call that we'll need to talk about separately, I believe, because I need to know your situation. So give me a call tomorrow, Elizabeth Darcy, and I can find out how we can accommodate that.
I just want to go back about the 6th graders and the 6th grade test. All 6th graders will take the same test, but in 7th grade, the obvious difference is that if they're in algebra, they'll take the Algebra EOC, and they will not have to also take the 7th grade FSA. So they're only going to take the 7th grade FSA or the Algebra EOC, but definitely not both.
Good. Forgot about our algebra
true.
7th
Yeah.
grade friends.
From the dates, 8th
Oh.
grade FSA is the 17th and 18th of May.
Yeah, apologize about that. So 8th grade pre-algebra FSA is the 17th and 18th of May.
So that's along with the algebra and geometry.
Yes, it's the same time.
Okay.
My bad, I forgot to edit that slide.
So again, to get to the form, we have one family that's looking for the form. On your right side of your screen, you're going to see a place to click a drop down for chat and a place to click a drop down for Q&A. So you're going to want to click next to where it says chat, and hopefully you can see the form there. Here's another question. If my Seminole Connect 6th grade student has a doctor's appointment on May 6th for Math FSA Session 1, can she make it up on Session 2 or 3 on May 7th? We actually have to break those up.
Correct.
So she would just go into a makeup session later that
Yep.
week. And
I believe makeups start the next week on Thursday and Friday. So she would take it the next week.
right. But a
Mhm.
testing coordinator would definitely reach out and let you know when that would be. we try to communicate that as
Mhm.
much as we can on the calendar. But basically, yeah, we want to try to keep kids from having to do makeups. So if there's a way to adjust the doctor's appointments, we have the dates on our website. But if, there's nothing that can be done, we certainly have makeup sessions, but they can't take all the sessions in one day. So that's something the state has, mandated for us. So here's another question. Nope. Thought there was.
There was one asking about the survey.
Okay, you got
I
it.
responded.
All right. Any other questions, folks? And thank you for the chat, all the thank yous that you're sitting in there. I just want to thank our teachers for staying late tonight, going above and beyond to make sure that you get the information that you need. I have one last question. When do we receive the results? We're looking at summertime. Summertime, we'll get the results, and the results should be put in Skyward, so you should be able to see them in Skyward prior to the new school year.
There was just a question posted in the chat asking how to sign into the sample test.
So you sign in as a guest. So as soon as you get in there, it does ask for a sign in, but you can continue as guest. Mhm.
Good question.
Yep.
I like to see people engaging with the
Yeah,
platform.
and I'm glad you're going in and looking.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Wong, for posting the link to the practice test in the chat.
Hi, Marcus.
All right, so thanks everybody for joining us tonight. Thank you also to Mr. Bruin, who's behind the scenes with technology. Feel free to reach out to us if you have any further questions. We do have the reading and ELA session that will look a little bit like this, but there's more information pertaining to English, language arts, and reading, but some other things as well. And that will be next Tuesday. I think the RSVP is due on Monday, but it will be a link that was sent out to you. If you could go ahead and RSVP for that as well, that will also be from 6 to 7 on Tuesday. So thanks again, everybody. We just want to wish you a great Thursday night and a wonderful weekend upcoming. Have a good night.
Good night.